Ready, fade in music, fade in 4. Ready, fade in music, ready, fade in 4. Fade in music, fade in 4. Ready, key font 1, key font 1. Ready,
Alright.
music under, ready, cue host 1. Music
Yes,
under,
sir.
Seton
cue
Hall
host 1.
presents.
Ready,
Medium
lose
shot
key,
was
ready, dissolve
1.
to 5. Lose key, dissolve to 5. Ready, key font 2. Key font 2. Ready, lose key, ready, dissolve to 2.
Teach with television.
Lose key, dissolve to 2. Ready, fade out music, ready, cue host 1. Fade out music and cue host 1.
Welcome to Teach with Television.
Ready,
I'm Sam
take 2.
Rizagasi.
Take 2.
And I'm Joey Nardone. Today we begin a
Two,
series of 10-minute programs
ready
on
to
various
watch
roles
out,
media
post
play
one,
in
two.
our lives.
Take 2.
Television has a tremendous
Ready to take
influence on our
3.
everyday lives.
keep that medium
While
shot,
today's
one for that
consumers have
close
more
up.
options than ever in which to receive media, television remains a dominant form, as recent studies show that the average American child under 11 spends 4 hours in front of the TV a day. As an adult, that time increases to
take
5
3.
hours a day. Television can have a big impact on how we view the world and interact with each other. But is it really the best way to obtain our information?
It's amazing that despite the preponderance of television viewing by the American public, only a minority of schools use TV for teaching, and many have theorized that the larger part of learning takes place outside of the classroom.
Take 3.
Perhaps part of the
Ready,
reason
take
TV
1.
is not used more in the classroom is that schools have adapted new computer technologies, with some seeing to interact in new devices for conveying information and influencing thought and opinion.
Take 1.
This is not
Ready
to
to
say that
fade
television is
music.
irrelevant. Television is still an important part of our lives. This series will reveal the ways that television can be a service to the learning process,
font.
including an interview
Music.
with a special guest.
Ready to
Advanced
dissolve to
font.
5. Ready, key font 3. Dissolve to 5. Key font 3. Ready, lose key. Ready, fade out music. Ready, take silver. Ready, track audio. Lose key. Fade out music. Take silver. Track audio. Ready,
Advanced
fade
font.
in music. Ready to take 6.
Alright,
Ready, fade in music. Ready, take 6.
I told you, you're just no good for me anymore. I have a new station in my life.
Fade in music, take 6. Ready, key font 4, key font 4. Ready, dissolve to 2. Ready to fade out music. Dissolve to 2, fade out music. Ready, lose key, lose key. Ready,
Advanced
cue host
font.
1, cue host 1.
Today's program will give an
Ready to
orientation
take
to
3.
media. Our first question must be, what forms of media influence our lives? Well, the answers are obvious. If we think
Take
about the
3.
media, what
Ready,
media
key
we
font
have daily
5.
contact with, television as well as many other media. At one time, television was
Key font
expensive
5.
luxury that took place of
Ready,
other
lose
forms of
key.
information gathering. In schools,
Lose key.
it
Advanced
even
font.
could take the place
Ready
of
to take
conventional
1.
teacher by conveying visual messages and stories in stimulating ways that a teacher or book could not. The best way to
Ready,
analyze the role of
font
media in our
6.
lives is to think about the way we use it.
Take 1.
Each person has a different way of waking up to the morning's
6.
events. We first learn about current
Ready,
events in
flying
different
box.
ways. One may decide to
Ready,
subscribe to a
lose key.
magazine of their niche
ready to
enjoyment.
slide over.
While most magazines are only
key.
bi-weekly or monthly,
Flying
it is still a
box.
good way to get more in-depth looks at certain news stories. Most magazines also tailor to one's specific interests.
Ready to take 3. Take 3.
In addition to learning about current
Ready,
events
advanced
throughout the day,
box.
an individual can gather information in many other ways.
Advanced font.
For example, they may browse the
Cut
ABC
box.
News website in order to learn about all the current political and economic
Ready to
changes that
take
occur
1.
daily. For example, giving critical campaign information about newly re-elected Governor Phil Murphy as he became the 56th governor of New Jersey once again.
Take 1.
One of the
Cut
advantages of
box.
using television in the classroom is that television can show students historic video images that will preserve the voice of great public figures or stories of monumental moments for years, decades, or perhaps centuries. Students can learn about World War
Cutting
I,
box.
where the U.S. government says there are about 1,500 reels
fly out
preserved in the
box.
National Archives. These reels can shine a light into what life was like for the
Fly out
soldiers
box.
back then.
Ready to take silver. Take silver.
Television can give the student an otherwise unavailable view of vital instructional experiences. An
Ready,
obvious
take
example
2.
of this is a televised operation in a medical or dental school, but it has applications at the primary and
Take 2.
secondary levels as well.
Ready to dial you
Television
in for a
also can use
close-up.
the camera as a way to stimulate or control the way one feels. When the camera is far away, one
Ready
feels
to take
distant,
2,
and the
dial
viewer
in for
cannot
a
help but want
close-up.
to look around the frame that surrounds the subject on camera. By dialing in for a
Dial in for
close-up,
close-up.
one can achieve a feeling of importance or intimacy.
Ready to take
Television
4.
has a great ability to achieve subconscious
get
feelings
ready
in a
to,
viewer that
ready the
cannot be
camera over by
achieved in
the,
other media.
Take 4.
Finally,
to
television
tilt
can
pan
bring
to
the outside
reveal.
world into the classroom for analysis and discussion.
Tilt pan to
While it is
reveal.
true that films, websites,
to
and
take
digital audio
one.
have similar potential, their solidarity experience does not impact viewers the same way shared viewing in a classroom can, where moderated discussion can provide deeper insight. This is a sense of shared connectivity that has helped television become a staple of our American daily lifestyle.
Take one.
Just a couple
Ready
questions,
to
Joey.
take four.
Do you believe TV is dying as a whole?
Take four.
I do not think television is dying as a whole.
Ready to
Cut the
It's
ad lib.
obvious in the industry that many popular news television shows like Ted Lasso and Apple TV are drawing people to new, different streaming platforms.
Take one. Ready
Thank
to
you for
take
your time,
three.
Joey.
Take three.
Here in our studio today
Ready to take one.
is Michael Fusey. Michael's a very successful individual. Thank you for
Take
joining
one.
us.
Ready to take
Camera
three.
three, move,
so-
move over.
Could you tell me more about your career
close
at Deloitte and your role in the company?
Take three.
Sure.
Ready,
Deloitte
key
is
font
the
seven.
largest professional services firm in the world. And
Key font
I've
seven.
just worked there 40 years. And I started my
Ready, lose
undergraduate
key.
from Montclair
Lose
State
key.
College.
Ready to
When I
take
retired,
one.
I was the
Advanced font.
executive chairman of the firm.
Take one.
Wow, that's very impressive.
Ready to
Could you
take
tell
three.
me more about your experiences being on television and being in that atmosphere?
Take three.
Yes. While I was
One
the
moves it
executive
over-
chairman,
one moves it
a
over
lot
the
of the
shoulder.
Ready to take
role I
one.
had was to be the face to the firm outside. So I
One's not
was
ready, one's not ready
on
yet.
many news shows like MSNBC,
One's ready.
C-SPAN, CNN, in most cases talking about a particular subject of the day.
Take one.
Wow,
And then
that's
three,
very
move down over the
interesting.
shoulder.
Ready to take
So
three.
how has digital media impacted Deloitte in the recent years?
Take three.
Well, digital media
Ready
is
to take
probably
one.
the fastest growing area of Deloitte. Anything we do now has to have a technology focused and a digital focused. So I believe we're still only on the
Ready to take
precipice
one.
of it growing, but it's the fundamental and foundation part of anything we
Two,
do
get
right
ready
now.
for that medium
Yeah,
shot.
and
Take
have
one.
you
After the-
personally seen a
Wrap-
shift towards a
wrap
more
it or-
digital approach?
Not yet, not yet,
Yeah,
not yet,
absolutely.
Take
In
three.
fact, 10 years ago, we actually realized how important this was
Ready
going to
take
be.
one.
We went out and bought about 14 or 15 different digital firms and created a whole area called Deloitte Digital to help
Wow.
companies with dealing with any of their digital transformation issues.
Wow,
one.
that's truly amazing.
Ready to take
So do
three.
you see consulting shifting as well?
Yes, I actually
Take-
think
or take
we're
three.
probably about 75% of the way there and shifting.
One,
There's
move out
maybe
of the other
Take one.
25% to go. But even when we
No,
hire people,
one, move out of the
from the
other
time
shoulder.
they start with us till the time they retire, the
Yeah,
expectation
yeah,
is that
back to
they
closer.
are savvy in digital and
Yep,
media.
hold space.
And that from the time they start,
Also
to the time
focus
they leave
up.
the front.
You're focused up on the back.
Well, thank you for
Three, move out
being
of the.
here in our
Take
studio
one.
Move
today.
out of the
Hopefully,
shoulder.
we look
Three
forward
chroma.
to seeing you in the
Three, move
future.
the chroma.
And
Ready to take three
thank you
chroma,
for your
not take
time.
three
thank you
chroma.
for having me.
So, as a conclusion,
Take one.
As a conclusion to today's show, we review the capabilities and limitations of Medium
Ready
in the
to take three
teaching
chroma.
contest.
Take three chroma.
First, what it cannot do.
It cannot provide in-person interaction.
Ready to take
Cannot
two.
offer hands-on instruction.
Two, get that medium.
It cannot allow for extensive give and take in the application of abstract ideas.
Take two.
Advanced font.
Ready to take three chroma.
Television might be seen as quaint to our fast-paced world, but coupled with the importance, television has many changes.
Take three chroma.
Two, move that
Television can be
close up.
used for teacher lectures and demonstrations, panel discussions, interviews, dramatizations,
Ready to
audio-visual
take two.
devices, realia, and pupil participation with interactive systems.
Take two.
As we have shown today, television still has not realized its full potential form.
Three,
Amazing
move
stuff.
that full shot.
TV is not a dinosaur from the past. Working with new technologies, television
little.
has the opportunity to be a vibrant force in our educational
Go
environment.
up.
Take three. Pan zoom in to follow.
Next week, we will examine the various ways we obtain news and how technology
Ready to
affects
do
the way we
watch out.
understand the events happening around us.
Take two.
1 minute.
Until then, this is Sam Mirzagassi.
Ready
And
to
I'm
fade in
Joey
music, ready to
Nardone,
dissolve to
wishing
five.
you a good day.
Fade in music, dissolve to 5. Ready key font 8. Ready key host 2.
Advanced
Key
font.
font 8. Key host 2.
This has been Teach with Television.
Ready lose key. Lose key. Ready dissolve to 4. Dissolve to
Advanced
4.
font.
Ready key font 9. Key font 9.
This program was produced by Seton Hall University and is solely responsible for the content.
Ready to lose key.
10,
Lose key.
9,
fade out picture and sound.